Hello everyone. Today I am going to explain the solution of tutorial sheet 5. This tutorial sheet is based on multivariable functions and partial derivatives. Now just see the question number 1. In question number 1 you have to show that the following limits do not exist as xy is approaching to 0, 0. So we have to find out the limit whenever our xy is approaching to 0, 0. We have to see whether the limit exists or not. So for this we will apply the two-part test. Since we know that in this question we have to find out, we have to show that the limit do not exist. So we have to choose a path in such a way such that that path is passes through the point 0, 0, and the terms in the numerator as well as in the denominator, they are cancelled out, right? For example, in the first part, the degree of numerator in numerator the degree of x and y both are 1 1. So we can choose a path to be y is equal to mx, as we know that this path is passes through the point 0, 0, because when you substitute x to be 0 you will get the y is 0. So this path is passes through 0, 0, and if we substitute y to be mx over here, we will have, after simplifying, we will have this is 1 minus 2m upon 1 plus m, which is independent on x and y term. It depends on m only. So if we put m to be 0, the limit is 1, right? When you put m to be 0, you will get the limit is 1. When you put m to be 1, you will get the limit is minus half. So the limit is not unique. So we can choose infinitely many paths by taking m to be any real number. So in along every path we get the limit is not unique. So we can say that by two-part test the limit of the given function does not exist. Same way in B part, we are given a function xy cube upon x square plus y to the power 6. So here we can choose a path to be x is equal to my cube. So because when we put this, then the terms in y, they are cancelled out and we left with m term only, right? So here we can write x tending to 0. Rather taking x tending to 0, we can write over y tending to 0, because we convert x to be as function of y. So whenever your x is going to 0, y is also going to 0. So we can substitute y tending to 0 over here. So after taking this limit, we get this is depending on m only, which is not unique. So again, by two-part test, the limit of the given function does not exist. Similarly, in this case, we can choose path to be x is equal to my square. So when you put x to be my square, the terms of y are cancelled out in the numerator as well as in denominator. And here also you have to take y tending to 0. So when you put y tending to 0, you get m, this limit is m upon m square plus 1, which is again depending on m, means not unique. When you put m to be 0, the limit is 0. When you put m to be 1, it will be half, and so on. So again, by two-part test, the limit does not exist. The same way in part D, we can choose path to be mx, and again it depending on m, so the limit does not exist. In question number 2, we have to find out the partial derivative of the function x with respect to z at this point if this equation is given to us, and also it is given that x is a function of y and z, where y and z are independent to each other. So x is depending on y, x is depending on z, but y and z, they are independent to each other. Now in here we have to find out the partial derivative of x with respect to z. So we take a derivative of this equation both sides with respect to z. So here x is also depending on z, so we have to apply u into v. So first function as it is into the derivative of this with respect to z, which is 1, plus z as it is into the derivative of first function, it's curly x upon curly z, plus y as it is into the derivative of ln x with respect to z, which will be 1 over x into curly x upon curly z, plus ln x as it is into the derivative of y with respect to z minus 2x curly x upon curly z equals to 0. But since y and z they are independent, so the partial derivative of y with respect to z will be 0. After simplifying, we will have the value of curly x upon curly z, which is this one. Now we need to find its value at this point. Here x is 1, y is minus 1, z is minus 3. So after substituting, we get the value of partial derivative, it is 1 by 6. In question number 3, we have to find out the first order partial derivatives of the following functions. In this case, when you find out the partial derivative of this function with respect to x, then we have to treat y and z to be constant. So its derivative is 1, its derivative is this one, this. Same way you can find out the derivative of sine inverse xyz with respect to x, with respect to y and z by treating another variables to be constant. The same way here. In question number 4, we have to find out second order partial derivatives of the function these. Now here the function is x plus y plus xy. When we find its partial derivative with respect to x, we have to treat y to be constant. So this comes out to be 1. Its derivative is 0 plus y. Again with respect to x, since there is no term in x, y is also constant. So its derivative with respect to x will be 0. But its derivative with respect to y will be 1. Now the partial derivative of this function with respect to y will be 0 plus 1 plus x. Again with respect to y, there is no y term, so it is 0. Same way we can find out the partial derivatives of the function sine into xy and x into e to the power y plus 1. Right? In question number 5, this is given to us that if the resistors of R1, R2, R3 ohms, they are connected in parallel to make an R ohm resistor, the value of R can be found from this equation. We have to find out the partial derivative of R with respect to R1, where R1 is 30, R2 is 45 and R3 is 90 ohm. Now here R is a function which is depending on R1, R2, R3, but all these are independent to each other. So when we have to find out the partial derivative of R with respect to R1, we take the derivative of this with respect to R1. Now since R1 is independent to R2 as well as independent to R3, so the derivatives of this with respect to R1 will be 0. So we get the derivative of this term and this term only. And the derivative of 1 over R will be minus 1 upon R square into the partial derivative of R with respect to R1. Similarly, the derivative of 1 over R1 square, R1 will be minus 1 upon R1 square. So after simplifying, we get the value of partial derivative of R with respect to R1 will be this. Now we have to find its value at this point. So first of all, we find out the value of R by substituting R1 to be 30, R2 to be 45 and R3 to be 90. So after simplifying, we get R is 15. Now you substitute over here, R is 15 and R1 is 30. So the value of partial derivative of R with respect to R1 will be 1 by 4.